Meeting will come to order, please. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting have been satisfied. Would you please take a second, turn off electronic equipment? We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Becker.
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg.
I am here.
Item 1 is the awarding of the O'Hara McCormick Memorial Scholarships. Brian, come on up.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Brian Duffy. I'm the president of the Margate City Fire Department, FMBA Local 41. It is my honor every year to award. I usually speak to the audience here because this is the people who are giving. Thank you.
You can do that.
It'll pick it up? Okay. Every year we give out our scholarship, and what's nice about it is we get to see our young people in Margate as they grow up through the grade schools, into high school, and now off to college. And it really is, it's just special, and we honor these young, hardworking young men and women with the scholarship. And this year is one of the best years we've ever had as far as quality of students and quality of education that these people have received. And the really cool part about this is there's 4 different schools here represented, 4 different high schools. And along those lines, the wonderful hard work that the young students put into it, I also have to just give our thank you to the community at large, because the only way we were able to do this scholarship is through the generous givings of the community. Every year we have our fund drive. It just went out this week. And through our community, people giving us money towards our scholarship, towards our different fundraisers that we give out, we're able to continue this. And we really do appreciate that. So without going into a long speech here, I'm just going to call up every winner here will receive a $1,000 scholarship. And I just tell the kids these are for books, not beer. All right? So you have to make sure that you use this towards your education. And I'm going to call you up. So Jake LaMonica. Jake went to Holy Spirit High School. Is going to be going to University of Delaware in the fall. And he's going to major in exercise science. Okay, Jake. Go ahead, stand right over there. We're going to take a picture. I don't know, is Taryn here? Taryn Headley from Our Lady of Mercy Academy. She will be attending Sacred Heart and studying nursing. I don't think. And so congratulations to Taryn. Shane Ferry from Ocean City High School. He's going to go to the Florida Institute of Technology and studying aerospace engineering. So Shane, congratulations. And we just received this last one, the application in last week, and I think it was a clerical error on our part, but I'm happy we got this because Mackenzie Smith, come on up. Mackenzie, she went to high school, and she just told me that she got accepted to the University of Pennsylvania, and she's going to be studying actuarial, is that right? Yeah. Actuarial science at the Wharton School of Business. She will not become a fireman. All right, here's our winner. So let's we'll step over here. Mayor, commissioners, can you guys join us for a picture? Chief. What's up, Shane?
Car's the only thing I'd ever win.
Come on.
He's my guy. I umpired baseball.
Next item of business is to a couple awards of proclamations. John?
Thank you, Mayor. I will ask Police Chief David Wolfson to step forward.
I just, before I read this proclamation, I just have a few comments up that I want to make. It's been my honor for the past 4 years to work with not only David and the entire administration of the police department, but with every police officer that we have had, and have hired recently. The department, and I know a gentleman is in this room, and I've had many conversations, that you can go throughout the whole state of New Jersey, and when you have a department with a good morale, you don't have issues, you don't have lawsuits. And Margate is one of the finest departments, and under the leadership of David, we've had no lawsuits that I know about. We've had some issues that got resolved, but we've had a great, great experience through my 4 years with David. One of the unique things was, David told me he was thinking of retiring, and I asked him not to think about it. He said, no, it's time. And I know that feeling. But he said, the only condition is, the guy that replaces me, I've worked with, he's an excellent candidate, but he has to shave his head. The truth, Matt has a full head of hair. The only prerequisite was, he had to shave his head like David. But with that said, I'm not going to go through all the whereases, but I'm going to state what's written here. Chief David Wolfson has proudly served the Margate City Police Department for 35 years, including 19 years as chief, which is one heck of an accomplishment. Chief Wolfson has diligently guided the Margate City Police Department through many defining times, including the aftermath of September 11th, Hurricane Sandy, implementing the necessary changes to protect Margate's residents, visitors, and officers. Chief Wolfson has successfully led the department through the New Jersey State accreditation process, resulting in insurance savings to the city and additional safety training for the department staff and officers, while also earning the respect of his peers throughout Atlantic County and the state of New Jersey. Chief Wolfson has promoted the philosophy of respect, professionalism, and courtesy throughout the department, and has always proven himself to be a man of his word. And Chief Wolfson is a longtime resident of Margate and has continually dedicated himself to local charitable causes. And this is my favorite, participating in such events as Dunk the Chief, the most successful program we've ever had at Companies. Raised the most money, all went to charity. Now, therefore, be proclaimed by Margate City Board of Commissioners that upon the occasion of his retirement after 35 years of service to Margate City, Chief Wolfson should be commended for his admirable level of dedication and deserves the recognition and thanks of his residents. We wish him well in his future endeavors as his private citizen, knowing he has left prepared for a successful future. Congratulations.
I tell people, it's not what I am, it's not what I do, it's what I am. It's been that way. I couldn't be me without these guys in the back, police officers. Matt Hankinson, Ron Cash, the new administrative staff of the police department, they made my job easy. The commissioners basically never said no, and I have other chiefs call me and say, how do you get done what you get done? And I say to them, just be honest. And tell them why you need it, what you want to do. Actually, it's kind of funny because this is the first time I think I've served as the chief of police under Commissioner Amadeo, the mayor, and Commissioner Blumber, all public safety commissioner at one time. And we never had any issues. So I just want to thank everybody. It's been a great ride. It's been unbelievable. But it's time to move on. I'm really not retiring. I'm going to a family business, and I'm not going anywhere. And I keep kidding everybody that I'm actually going to follow John at the meetings. Thank you, everybody. And I just want to thank my wife. I couldn't have done it without her.
calling David out the door is our girl. This is her. Come on, you know, it says Leona, but I know it's Lonnie.
It is.
I know.
I'm not shaving my head though.
That wasn't a prerequisite for you, you just had to do your job. And, you know, it's stated in here, that behind the scenes, that makes men great, but always a great woman. And that's Lonnie. She's been there to hold, both captains, past captains, and the chief, keep you guys in line.
Good team.
Absolutely. So with that, we have a proclamation. Again, I'm going to bypass all the whereases because that gets kind of thin. Lonnie Thomas has proudly served the Margate City Police Department for nearly 30 years, including the last 13 years as administrative assistant to the chief of the Margate Police Department. Lonnie began her career with the Margate City Police Department in 1990 as a communications officer and was later promoted to senior communications officer, a position she held concurrently with the position of administrative assistant to the chief. Lonnie's contributions were often behind the scenes, but they were no less important to the department's success. Lonnie always welcomed everyone to the Margate City Police Department with a smile and was quick to offer a sympathetic ear to anyone in need, including our officers. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the City of Margate Board of Commissioners that upon the occasion of Lonnie's retirement, after nearly 30 years of service to Margate City, she should be commended for her admirable level of dedication and deserves the recognition and thanks of all the residents. Lonnie, thank you, because we all respect one thing. With the job communications people do for our city, keeps all of us safe. That's the first call that goes in. And these people are dedicated to the health and welfare of every one of us. It starts with them. So we have to really support all of these people. It's a great job. And that was a picture.
And I was gonna say, shoot off, it's nice.
Should get paid by
I
the
just have
mile.
to say one thing. When I came up front with me, it's so long ago, one of the things I said to her, we were joking around one day, I said, you know, I'm really the king. And she said, you may be the king, but I'm now the queen who sweeps. I couldn't have done it without her either.
Neither.
Can we get a picture with the commissioner?
Sure.
And there?
Momo.
No, they don't want
Michael?
Yeah, move it.
Makes good cornbread, too.
Thank you.
No such thing.
John, you got mine? What? You got mine? Yes.
If anyone wants to stay for our meetings, we'll be here till about 7:30.
That's right. We lock the doors. Get out now.
No takers.
Get out now, or the doors are locked.
At this point, I'd like to call up Bill Subin, who'd like to address the Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. While people are leaving, I can't help but say how nice it is to be a Margate resident and see the caliber of people working for us, the taxpayers. I commend the mayor and the commissioners, and Chief Wolfson, Captain Hankinson, Chief Adams. As a citizen here, I am really fortunate that you all work for us and do such a good job protecting us. And this is a great example of the dedication of the people who have worked so many years for us. This was a very moving moment for me to hear the words from each of you and from the people who have served this community so well. And I'm sure that every person here and around the community never gets to tell you that, but we take it for granted too often how well protected, how well served we are by the people who are so dedicated to keeping us safe. And that includes Chief Adams, Chief Wilson, Captain Hankinson, and all the men and women of the police and fire department, and all of you who really work for us. Every once in a while, I think it needs to be said from the audience. You maybe not get it as often, but this was a very moving ceremony for me to see, and I'm glad I was here.
Thanks, Coach.
Having said that, my purpose of being here will be very brief to indicate that I am a member of the Board of Trustees and volunteer for the Save Lucy Committee, and thanks to the very hard work of your administrator, Richard Deeney, and the cooperation of each of you, Mayor and Commissioners, and your solicitor, Scott Abbott, I think we're very close to an agreement on a long-term lease with the Save Lucy Committee and the City of Margate. I have to candidly represent, as I'm sure your solicitor will have to represent for you, that until the final document as put together and approved by your solicitor to Mr. Deeney and by our attorney to our president of the Save Lucy Committee, obviously we can't represent that we have a final approval. But we have had a draft that has been worked on, and even just before this meeting, I am confident that the changes that we suggested will be gone over carefully by your solicitor and our attorney, and hopefully both boards will be able to come up and authorize the mayor to sign on your behalf and the president of Save Lucy, Davida Ross, to sign on behalf of the Save Lucy Committee. Having said that, I obviously do not have the authority to indicate that it is final approval any more than you can say that today, but there's been hard work. There were only a few changes that I think will be accepted by our board and hopefully accepted by your board, and if so, we look forward to a prompt final resolution so that we can continue what is an historic landmark and has stood for many years in this community as a beacon for education and history. And we hope to continue to see Lucy the elephant survive for many more years with your help and with the help of the volunteers that Lucy has attracted over the years. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but I would urge that we have at least a preliminary approval here so that our board can likewise approve the final document in time for you to authorize a signature of the final lease by your next meeting. And if there's any questions from the mayor or the commissioners,
Any questions?
Mr. Abbott?
None at all.
Bill, we're all fine?
Great. And
Okay.
once again, now that they're in the room, thank you, Administrator Richard Deeney, and the chiefs and the members of the departments that take care of all of us all the time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Bill, before anything, I'd like to acknowledge your participation in this, and I am firmly committed that without your participation and all, this would have been not quite this far along, and I want to thank you very much for every citizen of Margate. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Very well said.
Mayor, Bill didn't say it, but it's my understanding that they will have a vote between now and the 18th. Our next meeting will be the 18th. There'll be a resolution on the agenda with the formal document, and hopefully that will be the date of the final date for this agreement going forward. But it'll be on your next meeting.
Thank you.
That's correct. We anticipate a vote even before then, but we have a meeting scheduled for July the 14th, so I'm quite hopeful that can report a final approval of the document that the solicitor and our attorney will approve for us. Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Being as there are no special items on the agenda for discussion at this point, we'll go directly to department head reports. And Matt, why don't we start with you this time?
Not much to report. Next weekend we have Beach Dock. So it's one of the bigger events in the city. So we have all our resources ready to be deployed more or less for the weekend. Don't really foresee any problems. As we talked earlier, the auction is in full effect. Hopefully by Sunday the auction ends. Hopefully we'll be able to move forward on getting rid of those old vehicles and getting the parking lot taken care of. Oh, and just last week, myself, Chief Wolfson, Lieutenant Cashin, we're at the South Brunswick Police Department. The police department was just recently reaccredited. We passed our last verbal part, so we're waiting for our certificate, which will be presented hopefully to us from the State Chiefs Association sometime in August.
Question, Mayor?
Certainly.
I would request the presence of former Chief Wolfson to attend that ceremony because it's a presentation. I think you deserve to be there because you played a major part in that from day one.
I wouldn't miss it.
So don't plan any vacations.
No, I have no vacations planned. I wouldn't miss it, but they need to know that Matt and Ron did all the work.
That might be the case, but you brought it into town.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. You have anything else? Andrew?
Our summer programs are starting in the Recreation Department. This week, we started our Youth Basketball League out on the Jerome Avenue and Union Avenue courts. We have over 400 kids participating in that program, which is co-sponsored by the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. So they provide some funding for us for some different things for that program. Next week, we'll start our summer camps. Now the kids are going to be out of school starting tomorrow, at least our local kids. So we have an all-sports camp, and then the week after that, we start all of our different camps will be starting, which will run through the middle of August. Our tennis courts will open tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day through Labor Day. Pickleball courts, as was mentioned at the Capitol meeting, should be completed, the final 3 pickleball courts by middle of next week. So we'll have our staff out there as well. And that's what's going on right now.
Thank you, Andrew. Dan?
Thank you, Mayor. Just as everybody's well aware, the summer season is upon us, and a couple things. We have a couple handouts up here related to fire safety matters, dealing with fireworks safety tips and grilling safety tips. You know, we speak about this every year regarding grilling especially. Make sure we don't have our grills near any combustible materials. Keep them a good distance, 3 to 4 feet from anything. We respond to probably at least a dozen related grill incidents and fires that could turn catastrophic. So please pay heed and special attention to that. All of our protected bathing beaches will be open by the end of next week. Most of the beaches are open already, 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Please only swim near a lifeguard and only at a protected and guarded beaches during the hours of operation. The water is relentless out there, and the rip currents, people may think they're strong enough to handle them, but they're really not. So please, only swim during hours. The last 2 things quickly are the Margate City Fire Department will have their annual open house at the Margate Library. That'll be on Thursday, June 27th, starting at 6:30 p.m. Please come out and enjoy a great night. You know, meet our firefighters, see our apparatus. We'll have some hot dogs and some refreshments to be served. And the other is a follow-up to the email I sent to Mr. Deeney and the mayor and commissioners about the AED units. The FMBA is not here still, but I did want to thank them publicly once again. We were able to upgrade all of the AEDs citywide that they've donated and/or that are part of the city. And since then, we've added 3 additional AEDs to the coffers, 2 for recreation and 1 for the beach patrol. And that was done through our GIF safety incentive program, so we're actually going to get the money reimbursed back for them. So thank you to everyone. Wish everyone a happy and healthy 4th of July season. And Dave, congratulations to you and Lonnie. Hopefully someday I'll be able to sit here and say the same thing and enjoy retirement. So good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Scott? Mr.
Well, I get to say goodbye to Chief Wilson. My first year as city solicitor, I'll never forget, we had to run up to Camden at high speed to get in front of a federal judge. It was quite an experience for me, but it all worked out well in the end. And
You mean the high speed was?
the high speed, it's great. You're in a cop car, they guys can go 90 miles an hour, not a problem.
I wasn't driving 9 miles an hour, right?
Anyhow, yeah, anyhow, so gonna miss you and best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so as you heard, we have our lease with the Save Lucy Committee. I wanted to tell you that City Administrator Deeney really put a tremendous effort in on this. We looked at many of the lease and lease provisions and customs and practices of other situations involving nonprofits and historical structures. I think this lease is very good for the city and for the Save Lucy Committee. You have the next to final draft that you got on last Friday. Some very minor changes. They want to give their financial information on December 1 instead of in March. Or very innocuous changes. And with working with Bill Subin has been a tremendous pleasure. He is always a gentleman. I have nothing but admiration for Bill Subin and known him fortunately for many years. So you have this. Hopefully their side of the fence will approve the contract or the lease on July 14th, which I think is what, Bastille Day? But also that, and then the symbolism there perhaps, and then on the 18th, we would approve this if you want. We'll have it on the agenda. I think there is a draft resolution, but we'll have it squared away for the 18th if that's when if you choose to adopt this. Okay, that's one. Number two, I believe we're going to go into executive session about our issue with bulkheads. And I know a couple of people I've seen walk in or have interest in that, but that'll be at our next meeting, and we'll update that. Number three, as you know, we had the recent appellate court decision of Gross versus Iannuzzi. That has to do with flood elevation requirements and structures and oceanfront. Anyway, the city's position was upheld, actually reversing lower court to some extent. And we won. It's been cited to be a reported case, so that all the other communities in New Jersey will look at a case involving Margate and how we applied our flood elevation requirements in the ordinance. The attorney for the co-defendant, though, has filed for certification to the Supreme Court on the issue, not the issue of the flood elevation and the requirement that they must raise their, they refurbish this townhouse, but on other issues concerning covenants and the homeowners association. I just got that in the mail the other day. So, and it's up to the Supreme Court if they want to grant what's called certification to have them consider this case as well. But in the meantime, the appellate court decision will be out there, and it'll be covers Margate. I think that's it. Mr. City Administrator, anything else? No, I think it's it.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay.
Frank?
Congratulations, Dave. Thank you for all the help you gave me through the years. It was great working with you.
Likewise.
And enjoy your retirement. Public Works is getting ready for the beach stock. We'll be getting ready all week. It's very well planned out beach party, and we're happy to participate. The beaches are in great shape. All the walkways are clean, especially Gladstone Avenue. And we've been fixing the split rail fences, and the porta potties will be on the beach this week, before the weekend. We were also, we moved the shed at the pickleball courts. We put it back. We also ran electric to it. Andrew, that shed's going to be a great asset to you. We were down to Washington Avenue Pier on the bay. We had to repair some railing. Some people did some vandalism or whatever. But we have been working down there at certain times, and you know, in the future, I know we plan on going all the way down Amherst Avenue, because we're going to have to pay attention to the park. There's some pavers and things like that, just a bunch of little things. The decking there is starting to get old, and it's not the wood itself, it's actually the bracing. So at that time, when we get down to that area, we got to consider that. The Parkway Fountain we have back on. Mazzarelli from Hamilton did a great job on the top of the pool for the fountain. And what we have to do is touch it up with a little paint, and then everything will match perfect. So they're all on for the weekend. That's all I have.
Thank you, Frank. Roger?
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations, Dave. I haven't known you as long as some of these other guys, but it's been a great six-year run with you. I appreciate your leadership and wisdom. You'll be missed. I'm sure you won't miss us as much, but that's okay. There's a planning board hearing next Thursday, the 27th. The following meeting is July 25th. And Scott Abbott brings up a great point about the application on the beach, or the court case, where it's pretty important for the city of Margate to hold fast and maintain that FEMA requirement for elevating houses. And I just did 2 inspections last week for house raising. The one you couldn't even tell is a house raise. I forgot it was a house raise. That's how good they've become. But it's important for the city to maintain their FEMA rating and NFIP standing, which is National Flood Insurance Protection. Number of applications in the planning board have been waning a little bit. That doesn't mean the number of houses have been decreased. They're just not seeking as many variances, which is good for the city of Margate, and it shows that our ordinances are doing well. That's all I have at this time.
Thank you, Roger. Ed?
I have nothing to add to my previous report.
Thank you. Rich?
Next meeting, we have already said that we're going to have the resolution dealing with Lucy, and the only reason why I'm bringing it up again is it is scheduled on the 5 o'clock agenda, but it will be removed. It was scheduled as tentative, and so when we pass that, we'll make sure that we remove that particular resolution. Also at the next meeting, I'm expecting that we will have the audit presented. It's usually presented in June, but as the finance director reported at the last meeting, it's been held up by state. The state hasn't released certain numbers that they're supposed to have released a month ago. So no audits are able to be released by the auditors yet, but I'm expecting that that will be accomplished between now and July 18th. So we'll have the audit. I'm also hoping to be able to have a capital ordinance introduction on July 18th, so we look to that, and if we'll get correspondence back and forth to you between now and that time. On the agenda tonight, I want to draw attention to the fact that there are a number of policies that are being revised or new, and it's extremely important, this whole process of what I call compliance. And the last 3 years, we spent a lot of time and resource on getting our policies in order, and sometimes it looks like just a bunch of bureaucratic things that are required. But I want to emphasize to the public and to all of us here that the importance of compliance. Resolution 151 says a resolution amending personnel policies and procedures manual to be known as the Seasonal Employee Handbook. So there's a Seasonal Employee Handbook and then other policies. But I want to read the first whereas clause because this is what we're dealing with today in local government. Whereas it is the policy of the City of Margate to treat employees and prospective employees in a manner consistent with all applicable employment laws and regulations, including, but not limited to, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 as amended by the Equal Opportunity Act of 1972, the Age Discrimination in Employment Act, the Equal Pay Act, the Diane B. Allen Equal Pay Law, the Fair Labor Standards Act, the New Jersey Minimum Wage Law, the New Jersey Law Against Discrimination, the Americans with Disabilities Act, the New Jersey Pregnant Workers Fairness Act, and Family and Medical Leave Act, Conscientious Employee Protection Act, the Public Employee Occupational Safety and Health Act, the New Jersey Civil Service Act, the New Jersey Attorney General's guidelines with respect to police department personnel matters, New Jersey Workers' Compensation Act, the Federal Consolidated Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act, COBRA, and the Open Public Meetings Act. that's a mouthful. But every one of those laws has pages and pages and pages of regulations that require us to do things on a regular basis. No one is perfect in compliance, but unless you have people that are looking at this constantly within the various departments, within our personnel department, our regular city attorney, our specialized personnel attorneys for guidance, we can't possibly exist and make the best effort attempts to comply. Commissioner Amadeo spoke earlier about police chief and the pleasure to work with the police department because of their conscious effort to be in compliance with not only these acts, but others that are special to the police department. But that goes to all departments. And he spoke of the limited number of legal actions that get advanced with respect to the police department or to any of our departments. And it's only because of the attention paid by all of us as managers of our departments and those that keep up with these laws, 3 of which are just brand new this year. And the Domestic Policy Act is one of them. The Diane Allen Act was just last year. We're doing the best we can to be in compliance. We have, through Joanne and Kelly and my office, spend probably 50 or more % of their time on just keeping up with these policies and getting them revised, getting them written, and getting them before you, getting them into our handbook. I want to say one last thing though. Chief Wolfson convinced me a couple of years ago to take the DMS program that they use, I don't know what DMS stands for, but
Data management system.
Data Management System, thank you, Captain, and make it citywide. We adopted a policy a year ago here that makes it citywide. We need to do a better job as an organization in getting all of our employees to be on that DMS system. So I'm saying it publicly, I said it by email this afternoon. We're not in compliance if all of our employees are not in compliance. And our employees are not going to be in compliance if our managers don't get in compliance. If the police department can be in full compliance and have everybody go on that system at least once a week and check off and sign electronically that they are familiar with these policies and have read them, then we can all do it. And if we do it, I can guarantee you we'll be light years ahead when it comes to any legal actions that we have to deal with. So I ask the commissioners to be aware of that, to look at these policies with some interest and respect, because you're held accountable just like we're all held accountable. And I know I'm preaching here, but I can't tell you how important this really is. So it's on the agenda today. I'm sure they'll get passed, but the more important thing, I'm challenging all of us by the end of this year that all managers will be in full compliance and that the majority of our employees will be in full compliance by the end of this year. That is compliance with being on that DMS system and being aware. The police department uses it for far more than this. They use it for every communication possible to make sure that all of their officers who are not always available because they're 24 hours a day, they don't always see all the managers. That's how they get constant information, and it works. So thank you for giving me that time.
Thank you, Rich. John, you have anything? That's your...
Yes, Mayor, I have a couple things. I want to briefly touch so that the residents are aware that we have Resolution 146, 2019, which is a resolution we're going to vote on tonight. The City of Margate opposing the countywide assessment bill A546. This is an important bill to our community, as it is to any shoreline community in Atlantic
County. I was in the legislature back in 2010 when the first county-wide assessment bill was passed as a pilot program in Gloucester County. And it proved to be successful in Gloucester County, and now our legislators in Atlantic County are forcing it upon us. It's a strong bill that would hurt Margate especially, and in my opinion, any shoreline community whose rateable base has increased throughout the years. And what we've seen throughout Atlantic County, where we've had a lot of foreclosures, and I think at one point Atlantic County was classified as the highest foreclosure. Atlantic County was the highest foreclosure in the state of New Jersey, or in the country. It would affect us severely. So our opposition to that bill and the Mayor's Association has been, we gotta stop it one way or the other. And our resolution tonight is concentrated on that we support not a county-wide assessment. We have a great team here in Margate. Our assessments are right up to date. Our rateable base is very strong, and our tax rate is very low. And as Margate residents, we should appreciate all that. And that's been the work of, Maury's been very much involved in that, and it's been the work of that team in the assessor's office that has us where we're at, and we don't want to lose that. I want to just thank everybody that was involved with the bike rodeo. I know our police department and our fire department, and Dawn was the organizer of that, along with Mark Winterbottom. It was a great program for our fourth graders. When I approached the superintendent, Barufi, about doing something for all the kids to bring awareness of bike safety, especially at a shore community when our population increases during the summer, and to keep our kids safe. He brought a program that he designed in Linwood and was a part of Linwood every year, and as the kids got through from 4th to 5th to 6th to 7th to 8th, they really had knowledge of the rules of the road and the law. So that whole program went very well, and it appears that it's going to be an annual program with the school system in conjunction with the City of Margate's police, fire department, and all that are interested in participating. Tomorrow, summer starts, so our season's here. So everybody be careful. Our visitors and our second homeowners are going to be here. Let's enjoy the summer. Let's keep it safe. Let's drive. The speed limits are posted. Let's be responsible and respect the speed limits and the traffic laws so that we don't have any events. Our police department are out there doing a great job, but it's all of us that add to that, and we have to be on top of it. And lastly, congratulations to the 4 recipients and the great job our FMBA does with the O'Hara and McCormick Scholarship. Again, our president of the FMBA stated if it wasn't for this community, it wouldn't happen. The generosity of all our residents are all a part of it. So we all enjoy it. And those 4 kids are outstanding young men and ladies that are all a part of Margate, so we should all be proud. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, John. Maury?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So I had 4 thank yous that I had written down, but John stole 2 of them. So this will go, my couple of minutes will go a little short. But again, I wanted to echo my first thank you to Dawn and John and Mike, the police and the fire department for the bike rodeo. I was invited and I rode my bike. My understanding is that Mike gave a speech, and it was just a great event for the kids, and hopefully they went and will go home and talk to their parents about bike safety. It's the most dangerous thing in the summertime, I think, that we have here in Margate are the bike riders and the parents not paying attention to the rules of the road, right? Especially riding down one-way streets. So that's my first thank you. My second thank you was, again, to the assessor's office. I can't take any credit for that. It's Jim and Mary Kathleen, with the help of Rich. This resolution is very, very important. We need to support it. We need to make calls. We need to make sure that that countywide assessment doesn't happen. And thank you to them for the hard work in preparing that resolution. My third thank you goes especially to Rich for his personal commitment and time, extra time, that he spent working with Scott and Mr. Subin and the Lucy Committee on we've been talking for many, many years now about getting this lease done, and we're really, really very close. That's a big thing. It's a good thing for Margate. And so thank you for the extra effort there. My fourth thank you, and the hardest one, is a thank you to the chief for the unbelievable time, energy, and effort and dedication that he put in to the city of Margate. It was in his blood. It will always be in his blood. The effort is just super. We're really going to miss him. I have a quick story. When I was the Commissioner of Public Safety, I would often go to lunch with the chief, and I would have a big, long list of notes for things that I would like him to look into and take care of me. And we would spend an entire lunch going through my list. And I would say to the chief, do you want my notes, or do you have a piece of paper that you could take some notes? And he would say to me, no, don't worry, I will take care of it. And he remembered every single one of the items that I gave him, and in no less than a week, they were all handled and taken care of. And when he said he was going to take care of something, he took care of it. And it always benefited the residents of Margate. So thank you, Chief, and best wishes for a happy retirement. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mark. I will be brief, but when I say I'm going to be brief, I'm going to be brief. For all of us who are sitting here listening here today, I have but one thing to say. I am so proud to be in Margate, and I think we all should have that same feeling. This is just a wonderful community, and I know I've said it before, I'll say it again, I hope. Just thank everybody that's part of Margate, and let's keep up the good work. At this point, I'd like to open for public comment. You have 3 minutes to comment on anything that was discussed here today. Is there any public comment?
Good evening. My name's Ed Berger, 9402 Amherst Avenue. I'm also the president of the Margate Business Association. I was sitting, listening to everyone talk to Dave, and I was trying to count. I was trying to count how many times I said thank you to you in the last 15 years for everything that you did for the events that the Business Association did. I gave up somewhere in the mid-40s to 50 because you have been such a part of the foundation of what we've been able to accomplish for so long. Of course, the other department heads involved in it so sincerely as well. But Dave, you have proven time and time again to us that you are a great leader of people. You are a man who commands respect and at the same time has understood how important it is to be both compassionate and understanding to the people that come to you on a day-to-day basis. I can say very comfortably that we never could have achieved the things that we achieved over the course of the years with the event without your support. So just one more time, thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Ed. Any other public comment?
I don't want to, Steve Warner, 103 North Sumner Avenue, I don't want to beat a dead horse, and I guess we'll be beating a dead horse, but Dave, you did a great job, and I appreciate it, and a lot of people appreciate it. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. Last chance, any other public comment? Is there a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes,
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
We will reconvene in 5 minutes.